Good morning, Bunk. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Fantastic, fantastic. We are coming in at episode 6 for the Sports Card Advantage podcast. For everybody, it is April 13th at 12:30 p.m. So not actually morning, but we'll roll with it
I, I
anyway.
just I just let it go.
We'll just roll with it anyway. Been a lot going on in the sports card world. We're going to talk about getting into our main event, Topps. Topps been on the move, making moves. They had two major announcements in the last week. One of which is that they are partnering with another company and going public. And then the other one is that they are launching their own NFT product. Any thoughts on? Yeah, we'll get to your smirk on the NFTs here in a minute. But how about some thoughts? Topps going public. What do you think this does for the company? What do you think it does for their product? Do you think that they're going to increase production or potentially jeopardize what they're doing?
Well, so I only have facts to go by, and the fact of the matter is, this is what the third time they've gone public,
Yeah,
and the second time they went public was conveniently in 1987.
I
And
did.
what
I did
and
own
what?
Topps stock when I was like 12 years old.
Yeah. So yeah, but and then 1987 you could argue is the beginning or right at the very beginning of the junk wax era. So they went public in 1987, and 1987 to what? 2001 is basically crap in
Yeah,
terms of overproduction. So all I can go by is the last time they went public, not good things happened.
yeah, that's definitely true. I definitely do remember owning Topps TOPP stock when I was like 12 years old. Got Pops to buy me some shares, so I had something to follow. So yeah, I mean it's big. It once again reinforces my theory that the hobby is dead, and I've said it. And there was quite the controversy on TikTok this week over my comments. But I'm not, and to clarify my comments, I'm not saying sports cards as a business is dead. I'm saying the innocence of the hobby and it being treated as a hobby is dead. You have major corporations partnering with Topps. You have major corporations and money partnering or buying PSA outright. I think that you will see people get, things get overprinted or people get priced out.
Yeah, I mean, priced out, I can't argue with you there. There are things I used to buy that I can't now. I don't want to. It's too expensive. And
Yeah,
if there's any kind of market recorrection or settling, I just spent way more than I should have for something I wanted. So I agree in that aspect. Absolutely, I am priced out of things, and a lot of other people are too.
yeah. I mean, we saw some recent pushes, and we're going to get into some videos on this type of stuff and looking at charts on our social media channels and some upcoming videos. But the average retracement, and for those of you who don't know what that means, basically when a price, yeah, when a price goes up dramatically, you're looking at how far that price comes back down to get an idea of where you may be able to buy in for the next move. So the average
Right.
retracement of this most recent explosion of price was 78%. So you had cards that popped tremendously and came back down roughly 78%. So they're not giving up the full move. And a lot of these cards are still trading 5 to 6x what they traded 12 months ago. But if you bought at the top, you got fucked. I mean, now everything is 78% of what the value, of what you paid for. So you're out, if you spent $100 on a card, just for round numbers sake, it's worth $22 right now as far as this most recent move. So 100% agree that getting in at the top is dangerous, and we'll see what happens with Topps and whether or not they repeat. History is bound to repeat itself as far as overprinting and junk wax.
I hope not. I mean, that's really the only thing they could do to screw this up quickly would be to overproduce.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's literally Topps, Panini, all these companies are making money hand over fist. The demand has never been higher, but if you start to overprint, then you can have problems. I mean, we talked about it a few days ago, Justin Herbert. I know for a fact that there's a ton of Justin Herbert autos floating around right now. Select just came out, Optic Contenders just came out. there's a bunch of, high-end football product, and you are seeing a lot of Justin Herbert autos. And I think that it's, you'll see initial pops in value, but once people get a handle on how many are out there, higher pops lead to lower prices.
Yeah, and then to your point earlier too about the retracement stuff, I can't. You can no longer be the first one to buy after a product release.
Yeah.
Because of the elevated box prices and break prices. If you want a single from a new release, you are paying through the nose. And honestly, in less than 10 days, the price is less than half. Just wait it out. I don't understand people buying in singles in the first week of release. At least not now. In the past, you could do it because it was more of a fair market price.
More than likely, yes, with the only caveat to like Prism dropped late, and for whatever reason LaMelo hadn't gotten hurt, and if he would have been playing out of his mind, prices would have just skyrocketed until the off season. So if it's off season, like football and some of the bigger product releases, if they come out off season, yes, 100% agree that you gotta wait a few weeks until prices come down before you're looking to buy singles. Moving on to NFTs. Your favorite topic.
These things are so stupid.
So Topps announced that they're going to be dropping an NFT product. The difference in Topps's NFT product versus what's going on with NBA Top Shot is Topps is working directly in conjunction with Major League Baseball. I don't believe that Dapper, who owns NBA Top Shot, is working directly in conjunction with the NBA. I do believe that they have licensing rights to use the videos that they're using, but I don't believe that they're working directly with the NBA. So with Topps working directly with Major League Baseball, I do think that you'll have some room to have a more wide variety of products. And what I'm personally hoping for is some NFTs that are big moments in baseball history. I want to see an NFT of the Lou Gehrig speech. I want to see an NFT of the Willie Mays over the shoulder catch.
Type it into a YouTube search. You can watch it there.
Yes, I understand, guy, and I understand that you're.
I don't understand. Why would you pay for these clips?
So here's the question: would you pay for a piece of cardboard that had a picture of Derek Jeter on it?
Yes, we already do. That's
exactly. So,
but I physically can hold it and I have it.
Yes, I understand. No I understand you're an old.
Others, but you know what I mean.
I understand that you're in my hand. You're an old curmudgeon and you don't understand digital.
100%. 100%. Get off my lawn with NFT. Honestly, this makes no sense to me. I understand everything has value. Blah blah blah. I will never own one of these things.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you have to. I'm just saying that it is one aspect of the future of collectibles. You have a younger generation that, once again, feeding back into the hobby of cards. The younger generation has been priced out in certain cases. They're not holding their cards in their hands, trading them with their friends.
I just saw $1,000 Top Shot pack.
Yeah, $1,000 Top Shot pack, but that doesn't mean that all the stuff that Top Shot sells is $1,000. And the first few packs that MLB is putting out there are $5. So we'll see where the prices go, but I think that they're really trying to appeal to not your generation and up. They're trying to appeal to kids.
But here's my question for you: Do you think? Because I'd like to see more things happening in the hobby to create more and develop more collectors. Is Topps and these companies, are they just concerned with selling as many packs as possible? Like, are people going to collect these things, or are people just looking to see and they're getting in because they think they're going to sell it for twice?
Oh, the initial is definitely going to be FOMO, 100%.
Right. So how sustainable is it if it turns out not to be, if they don't run it so that people can double their money on it, which you can't do forever? There's got to, at some point there has to be someone who's like, okay, I've got an album and a folder on my hard drive with all my, or it's on the website, however they do this, and they're proud of the collection they have and not worried about.
Yeah, and that's the whole. In my opinion, there's one thing that Top Shot does right, and there's one thing that I think that they're doing wrong. The thing that they're doing right is you have in your profile, you have a showcase so that you can, all your cool moments you can put in your showcase. You have a link, you can send it around, you can post it in places, and basically it's your opportunity to show off what you got. But in my other opinion, I think that they are still looking at this somewhat as a money grab because they, the pack that dropped yesterday, $999, you had to have a certain amount of moments in your collection or a certain amount of rare moments in your collection. And if you didn't have that, you had to spend more money just to buy a $1,000 pack just to have an opportunity to potentially get something rare. And to me, that's greedy. That's a money grab. Hopefully Topps doesn't make the same mistake, and they can keep more people involved and turn this into something that you have some cool ownership of some of these video clips, and people find a cool way to display them. So
yes. Yeah, some kind of album or display kind of thing. Because you got, if you're, I get it, you're getting the younger people in, but everyone wants to make money. So anyone who wants to flip can flip. But if you're trying to appeal to someone, and it's not me and my age group, then yeah, I want to see something where people like going to collect these for the next 20 years. Make it sustainable. I just don't see how this lasts past a couple of years as a fad.
Well, people thought the internet was a fad too, guys. So, I mean, it just all depends. Right now people are spending an exorbitant amount of money on these things. A guy spent $69 million on an NFT painting, So, like, it's a digital painting. It's nothing he can hang on his fucking wall. It literally $69 million, and they hand him a little hard drive and say, here you go. And it's just a picture. So
what if it short circuits during a storm or something?
I don't know.
I know. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I just don't like these. I don't understand.
It's all a matter of perceived value. I mean, if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, would you like to buy the Mona Lisa?" and you'd be like, "No." I mean, unless you're going to be able to resell it to you to spend millions of dollars on the Mona Lisa to hang it on your fucking wall, you don't see the value in it, but somebody does. So
Topps going public, and with all these NFTs, I would just like to see more collectors, more people getting in the hobby as collectors. Flippers are going to have their role. They have their place. Everybody buys things from someone else for a marked up price. That's just how the world works. But I'm not mad at people doing that. I just want to see more collectors.
If collecting is too expensive, then that's the problem. I mean, the new boxes that just came out from Prism and Select, Prism box $2,500, Select box $1,700. Like, going with dad to the local card shop, you ain't dropping $2,000 on a box of cards. It's just not happening. To buy a pack of freaking Prism is $250. It's $250. I mean, it's a whole lot of allowance you got to save in order to be able to get that. And otherwise, you're buying shitty product that has zero value, but you get pictures of your favorite players. So people have to make the decision on what you want. You either want to collect pictures of your favorite players so that you can have, or you want shit that's going to be worth money. One or the other. You can't have both.
I've got cards worth a lot of money that I collect.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't collect certain things because you don't want to pay the money for them because, in 5 years from now, you don't want your investment to be worth 20% of what it was 5 years ago.
No, there's truth to that. 100%. There are things I won't start collecting in the current state of affairs. Correct.
Yeah. Alrighty, moving right along to our investment of the week and our lottery ticket of the week. We're going football for the next couple of weeks. We got the draft coming up, April 29th, one of my favorite sports days of the year. Not only you see where guys are going to wind up for fantasy, but also who the Giants get. Unfortunately, we've had way too many early picks, but hopefully we can get something right this year. So we're going to go football investment, J.K. Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins finds himself in a good situation. Mark Ingram is gone. A lot of the competition, that he was facing the last year is gone. So talk to me about some Dobbins. What are you looking at?
Yeah, if anything, he's going to lose a couple touches to Gus Edwards, but I'm not really worried about that. I think all indications, especially where they drafted him, lead me to believe that they're looking at him to be more closer to a workhorse for the first time in a long time in the Ravens backfield. Most of his rookie card autos across the board, Select, Mosaic, Optic, Prism, are all very affordable right now. Off season. He was, he was a touted rookie, but he just in a timeshare just didn't get the touches that one would have hoped him to have as a collector. So I think now's the time. I think now's the time across the board. Those raw autos are a good place to be, and I think you're going to see him lead the backfield.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, some of the prices, on the higher end, you could get a Prism Silver Auto, for probably between 80 and $100.
Correct.
And if you get that graded and you grade decent, you're looking easily 4 to 5x your investment, and then you can just sit on it. Granted, obviously PSA being shut down, for full disclosure, as far as what we have done in our own personal lives, we recently picked up a couple of Nick Chubb Prism Silver Autos and sent them into HGA. Those aren't something that we're looking at lifetime collections that are going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, we bought them for between 70 and $80. We submitted them for 60-day turnaround for $20 a card, and they should look great. And if they grade well, which hopefully Prism they will, we can easily flip those for 3 to 5 times our money, just depending on what they come out to. J.K. Dobbins, similar play. His stuff, you can get even some of his non-silver, like his disco prisms and mosaic autos. I mean, you can get those for $50 all day long.
Absolutely.
And they and those are high probability to hopefully grade well. Just make sure you look at the card before you buy it.
Yeah, I just saw a select RPA lower numbered. It was like $50.
Yeah,
really nice looking card.
100%. And Dobbins definitely a candidate who could easily 1,000+ yards and double-digit touchdowns this year. All right, moving on to our lottery ticket, digging into the barrel here as far as football is concerned, but I'm not mad at it. We'll go Allen Lazard, wide receiver for the Green Bay Packers.
Lotto tickets, guy. Lotto tickets.
I understand, guy. I
want cheap plays here.
Give me what you got.
Yeah, no, Lazard. His 2018 is his rookie year. His Prism autos are under $20.
Yeah.
In fact, his silvers, I believe, are under 25 autos right now. He has a chance to establish himself as being the number 2 target behind Devontae Adams.
Yep.
Plenty of balls to be had with Adams drawing a lot of attention. I think he's poised for a breakout. Again, I'm not the typical football analyst guy, but he's in a position where at the current market of his rookie cards and rookie card autos that if Rodgers does in fact come back, he's a good play.
Yeah, I don't disagree at all. 100% think that, in Green Bay, you could easily have 2,000-yard receivers with Rodgers on point throwing the ball. They did re-sign Aaron Jones. So unfortunately, our A.J. Dillon lottery ticket went out the window on that. But, it doesn't still mean that he might fill in the number 2 back with what was his name? Jamal Murray? What was
talking running back? Williams.
Jamal Williams. There you go. Thank you. Jamal Murray plays for the Nuggets.
Yeah, he just blew his knee out.
Yeah, he did. So yeah, I mean, Dylan will take the AJ. Fuck me. The
JK, AJ. Too many letters today.
Too many letters. He'll take the Jamal Williams role. But anyway, going back to Lazard, yeah, easily have 2,000-yard receivers. Lazard had some monster catches last year, some 70, 80-yard touchdowns. So definitely some play there. And once again, it's $25. And if he has a decent season, you could easily see that card hit 75 to 100. And also, once again, just throw it out there to HGA or CGS and see if you can get something back on it and just sit on it for the season until he has breakout.
Yep, cheap lotto tickets, guy.
Cheap lotto tickets, and if you can get one of the grading companies to give you a favorable grade, I mean, at this point, you're not looking to hold it forever. Allen Lazard is not going to be Jerry Rice, but if you can make 3 to 4x your money, it's worth it.
I can buy more cards with that.
There you go. And speaking of grading, let's move into our sports card 101 for the for today, and that is grading. Yeah, what do we do? PSA completely shut down for the time being, other than your $300 and $500 express and in person. There are rumors that BGS could also potentially shut down, at least temporarily. I have to imagine they saw a massive overflow once PSA decided to shut down, since they're regarded as number two. What are you doing with your cards? Are you sitting on them? Are you sending them to HGA, CGS, SGC? Are you sending these to these three companies?
Too many letters.
Or are you sitting on them and waiting for PSA to reopen?
No, I mean, my unpopular take is already out there. I don't have the time and patience to wait for PSA. I have again, this week we submitted some more to HGA. It's just so easy right now to do it if you get picked. So that's what I'm doing there. But all signs are pointing to, with the shutdown in PSA, the rumors about BGS, is they are overwhelmed with $6 base rookie cards that people want slabbed. They're overwhelmed with it. And all signs are pointing towards, with the increased prices and things of that nature, is they want you submitting high dollar, lower end, lower, scarcer stuff to be graded. And I don't know if that's a permanent thing, if that's just so they can get caught up, but they don't want 7,000 Cedric Mullins rookie cards.
I don't even know who Cedric
flagship.
Mullins. I don't even know who Cedric
Exactly,
Mullins
but
is.
he gets three hits one day, and then off you go, sending 100 of them to PSA.
Yeah.
So I think they're really trying to get away from the lower dollar stuff that, honestly, in my opinion, just shouldn't be graded.
Too many people.
But who am I to say that you can't protect forever in a nice slab your lower end card?
Yeah, and I mean, but too many people are looking for those flips. I think more often
Well, that's what it is.
than not,
That's the volume.
They're trying to take a $10 card, they send in 10 of them, and hoping that they get a couple 10s that they can 10x, and sell those PSA 10s for $100. And I think that's why they shut down. That's why they're overloaded, and now BGS is taking on that brunt, and we'll see what they do. We do have a word of warning for you guys. There are a few grading companies out there that are cropping up that literally came out of nowhere in the last month. So there are going to be companies that are trying to fill the space. Make sure you do your homework. Make sure you are researching the company. Do not submit to any kind of grading company that doesn't have some sort of established website, social media presence, customer service. Call them if you have to. Make sure you verify anything before you're sending. But I would say, other than HGA, SGC, and CGS, you should not be sending it into anybody other than Beckett, PSA, and those three. Those are all established enough for now that you should be okay, and you'll get your cards back. So that's the main thing, is you get your cards back in some form.
Yeah, I mean, I will certainly be discussing an update on our HGA turnarounds, because again, I'm not optimistic about those, but shout out. I'm more scarred by what's going on with PSA.
Yeah, shout out to the card that I got in my background, 2017 Christian Pulisic Kaboom. We did submit that to HGA with a custom slab request. We're shooting for the Pat Tillman American flag in the slab. For those of you who haven't seen it, go on to eBay or Google and type in Pat Tillman HGA American flag. You'll be able to see it. It's a really cool card, and really cool slab. So we're hoping to get a high grade on this card with the American flag in the slab.
Yeah, it's gonna look awesome.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our hot take, and we're gonna keep the rig rolling here with grading. Is PSA going to completely eliminate the ability to submit cheap cards? The rumor is, when they do open back up, that there will be a minimum of $100 per card to submit. If that happens, do you think that it will solve the problem, number one, as far as like them having such a backup, or shutting down? Are they going to then now get overloaded with that, everybody that's sitting and waiting, and you're still going to have to wait 9 months to a year to get your stuff back.
Well, I think that's part of what they're going to try to do is they have to fix the turnaround times. Now, the problem also here too is with the pandemic and such, and we don't know how many employees down they are, what's going on where they're doing that, what are their protocols in the offices they're in. I mean, obviously they were hurt by that too, like a lot of places were. So, and then naturally everyone home and the volume increases. So there's a lot of factors here at play as to why their turnarounds stink. Would they have gotten submitted 500,000 cards a week if people weren't all sitting at home? I mean, who knows? Maybe because
that's a ripple effect from the boom in sports cards. I mean, literally, you had guys that haven't touched their sports cards in 20 years that saw an article on CNN or Wall Street Journal, was like, oh shit, I got all these cards in my garage, or my basement, or my attic, and they went and literally grabbed boxes of these things and sent them in to try to get grades.
Right. So then I think at some point, yeah, they're gonna elevate entry levels or submission levels so that you don't send those lower dollar, higher volume submissions. I think the days of the $8 economy, if you send 100 or more cards, yes, I think that'll be gone.
Yeah. And
I don't know what their minimum is. 100 minimum seems high. I mean, that's really limiting certain. I mean, even some nice cards I'd want to get graded. You can't pay. I wouldn't pay $100 to grade it. So
yeah, but if it's $100 card and comes back PSA 10, I mean, you're talking potentially 7 to 10x your investment. So if you have to pay $100 to get there.
Well, right, but a lot of people took the gamble. Even at the $8, they were sending higher end stuff because they didn't care if it came back an 8 or a 9 or whatever. If you're paying a higher amount per card, you need a better shot it's coming back a little higher.
Yeah, I don't disagree, and and this is where it may open up room for a company like CGS or HGA or SGC who are going to take some of those lower dollar cards and do them for cheaper, and then PSA will just continue to elevate itself as the quote unquote gold standard, and they're not going to mess with some of the stuff in the lower tiers, and then that may open up a stream of revenue for some of these other companies, and you may see one of those three may become more prominent.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that at all. I don't know what's going to happen, but like I said 3 times already, I really think they're going to find a way to lower the volume of submissions. And then you could say, well, they're about making money. Why would they limit their, what they're taking on? I don't know. I mean, obviously it's caused them absolute mayhem for the last year. So that may be part of the issue, but
yeah, I mean, you burn out employees, you can't withstand, you can't sustain, what you're doing. So, you got to find a way that you can operate day to day and not have people constantly yelling at you as far as where your cards are. And you have to imagine they made mistakes and shit got lost. And, there's all kinds of stuff below the surface that, we're not seeing, but, there had to have been a ton of things that have happened with them. So,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. To me, unless I had one of those big dollar, big value cards that I am looking to keep and or have it so that is like major dollars, then I would submit it to PSA and wait. But, I mean, if you have something that you're looking to flip, you got to go somewhere else. You can't wait 9 months to a year to try to flip something because you don't know what can happen in that time.
Well, yeah. Plus, the market changes. That's why a lot of people are mad. If people would have got their cards back when they were supposed to last summer and last fall, they would make a heck of a lot more money than they're potentially going to make when they do show up.
78% retracement. Card that was worth $1,000 when you sent it in, and by the time you get it back, it's worth $220.
That's more the issue here. I mean, people actually would be understanding of the wait time if they knew they were getting what they could have sold it for when they were expecting it back. I think they'd be a little bit more accepting of it. But a lot of people are going to take a bath now. Well, not a bath, but not making as much as they thought they were.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I don't disagree at all. And it's just a matter of, trying to find a happy medium. And I think nobody expected this. And now that it's happening, people are trying to find a way to deal with it. So we'll see. But, from my standpoint, I've seen prices of HGA stuff selling on par or slightly below where their similar grade is with PSA, and that, you know, obviously is probably a little bit of shiny object bias. But, you know, right now, for my money, if I'm looking to flip anything and get it back quickly, HGA, you try to get into that HGA lottery and, you know, see if you can do it.
Yeah, I can't. I think they look great. I'm not one of the ones that think they look stupid. I do like the labels. Some of them are out there, but you know, I would just pass on buying them, you know, if I don't like the label. But generally speaking, I think they look good. They display well. And some of the things I sent from my PC, I sent there because I'm keeping it,
Yeah.
and I think it'll just look cool to display in one of their cases.
Yeah, it's a protected slab just like anything else, and it looks better so that if you hang it on a wall or put it on a stand on your desk, it's just going to look like much better, has much better aesthetics to it than just a plain PSA red and white, you know, slab.
Yeah. And the other issue here, which is interesting, is how long can PSA stay shut down before they slowly not become the gold standard resale company?
That is a good question. I mean, and it also depends on, you know, whether or not once you open the dam back up, whether or not there's just going to be such a flood of cards that come in. They're going to have, as you said, they're going to have to do something that as soon as they say, yes, we're open for business again, but this is the new rules of the game. Because otherwise, everybody that's just been sitting on cards for the last 4 months is going to say, here you go, here's all my shit, now get it back to me in a reasonable amount of time. So
yeah, I think you might see things like, okay, if you submit at this level so many cards, we'll allow you 10 at this level. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
you're not just gonna be able to do 100 cards that are $10 raw for $8 a piece and hope for tens and make money on that. I think they're gonna find ways around that where they're not gonna let you do that.
yeah, and it'll change the hobby. You know, it'll change valuation and it'll change the hobby. So I think that it's definitely,
Well, it's gonna, again, to your point, it's gonna price more people out because if the only graded cards I can afford are the base flagship Cedric Mullen PSA 10s, now they're not gonna be many of them, and there's gonna be so few of them, they'll be worth more.
Yep. So once again, the landscape will change, and you know, just gotta stay up to date on it. All right. Last but not least, our mailbag question. This is a good one. This will tie directly into your expertise and knowledge as a physical therapist, and also into the hobby. So we always like these little gems, and it's around Fernando Tatis Jr. Obviously, he literally swung himself into, you know, falling down on the ground, shoulder all messed up. I believe they're calling it a shoulder subluxation. The question that I have is, he is regarded as one of the holy trinity of the sport, and supposedly, you know, obviously everybody's trying to collect as much of him as they possibly can for long-term value, flips, etc. My question is, he missed part of last season with a hamstring. He's going to miss part of this season with the shoulder injury. Is he made of glass and not somebody that you're looking for long term? Like, walk me through the injury. What are the potential possibilities as far as long term damage? And, you know, do you feel that he's going to be the guy that can miss part of literally every season for the next 15 years and that hurts his long term value?
So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. So for starters, I just had a conversation with someone at work, and we were having an argument. Are people actually injury prone? It was a pretty good conversation. I wish I recorded it. But is he injury prone? I don't know. The data and evidence suggests that he is, because you also missed the year before that. He missed time with a stress fracture in his back. So he's had something all over the place for a long time. He's had a long, well-established history on that shoulder. Right? He's had multiple subluxations. For those that don't know, the shoulder is inherently unstable. It's a ball and socket joint, so the ball can slide out. If it only slides out part of the way, it's a subluxation. If it comes out all the way and someone needs to put it back in, that's considered a dislocation. So all these years of subluxing or the laxity that's in his shoulder, he's prone to having it pop out. And if you guys remember, about 2 weeks in spring training, during a spring training game, he went to field the ball and quick throw or something, and he got doubled over and he hurt at the time. It was his left shoulder. It's his non-throwing shoulder, but even that quick move, there was something going on that shoulder. So ultimately, Go ahead.
The question is, obviously, they're going to have to fix it at some point. If they
I believe that to be true. I believe at some point they're going to have to surgically stabilize the shoulder. Yes.
So whether or not he damages it enough and he misses the rest of this season, or he can somehow survive and make it to the offseason and they go to surgery. When they have surgery, is he 100%? Or is there danger that there's weakness in that shoulder and it could affect his game?
Nah, if they surgically stabilize that shoulder, the best thing going for him is it's his non-throwing arm. So the biggest thing with any kind of labrum or stabilization surgery is if you're an overhead athlete or a thrower, like it's sometimes a kiss of death for pitchers because it's very tough to come back and perform at the elite major league level following one of those procedures. It being his non-throwing arm, I don't believe that if it gets surgically repaired, it's going to be an issue for him.
So the hope is that he starts the 2022 season fresh, no injuries, etc. But the pattern the writing is on the wall that between hamstring, back, shoulder, he's had some sort of issue every year for the last 3 years. Are you investing big dollars in Fernando Tatis?
Personally, I'm not. I don't like the fact. I mean, I was afraid when he had the back compression. I'm like, what's a 21, 22-year-old I mean doing with that? Now, listen, stress fractures are the result of some sort of repetitive overuse. So
I mean,
and with all
hard, like he is
aggressive. With all the swinging these guys do, and he's repetitively fielding ground balls and coming up out of that motion and going right into a throw. It's not a surprise. We see this all the time. But it also can speak to does he just not have the body's just not going to hold up? I don't know. But I'm biased only because of the field I'm in that these injuries type skip. So on one hand, I know people can rehab and come back at a high level, but on the other hand, it's like, well, why are you hurt all the time?
Yeah. So out of the Holy Trinity, he is number 3 on your list. Soto, Acuna, definitely above. As if you're putting money into these 3 players, Tatis
I own less dollar money in Tatis than Soto and Acuna. There's probably a handful more that I got above Tatis personally.
Yeah, absolutely.
But listen, he's a talent, and if he comes, he's not in his physical prime yet. He's going to be working with the best people in the world, to get himself back in shape if he has to have any kind of procedure. So there's definitely no reason why he can't. He's going to fill out. He's still a young kid. What do they say? Physical prime is like 27 years old. So
yeah,
it's so hard to predict.
Yeah, absolutely. But
the shoulder's not something that's would stop me from buying him.
But at the same time, if you look at your big dollar guys, Mantle, Trout, how many games, how many seasons did either one of these guys miss? They were on the field all the time.
The only thing for Trout I remember was when he tore his thumb ligament. That's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
And that was
otherwise he's out there. Maybe a hamstring for a week.
Yeah, I mean the thumb thing was a fluke. I think he got that like sliding into second base or something. I mean that was a complete fluke, but. And that's the concern. The guys that are the flagship dollars right now are guys that play every day. I mean, granted, Tatis has the attitude, he has the swagger, he has the talent, but if he's not on the field or he only plays 100 games a year, at the end, when it's all said and done, he's not going to have the career stats that the other guys will have.
Yeah, he could have a sick career, a nice career, but if he has 350 career home runs, how many people are going to get excited about that in 15 years?
Nobody. Swagger doesn't mean shit when you retire and don't make the Hall, and so it doesn't matter. So I agree.
Yeah, but at the same time, where me personally, I'm leaning towards maybe not going heavy on him, but I'm gonna keep stuff of his. He could easily be a Hall of Famer. I mean,
yeah.
I just want to make that point. I mean,
granted. I mean, yeah, obviously, but if somebody handed you $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 and said, okay, you got to buy a rookie auto of somebody that you're going to hold for 20 years, he's not the guy that you're spending.
Me personally, I have a hard time buying guys that are hurt that often. Yes.
Yeah, agree. And, there's probably going to be plenty of opportunities to flip Tatis.
Oh my God! So listen, if he doesn't play a lot this year, there's gonna be plenty of people gonna be panic selling all
Yeah.
over the place, and there's gonna be enough guys that just will take anything to get rid of it because it's still more than they got in for. You can get yourself some nice buy low and sit on it, especially if you're a Tatis believer.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that, for whatever reason, he comes back in 3 weeks, whatever, and then a month after that, he rips the shoulder out and has to sit down for the rest of the season, get surgery. You're going to see tremendous amounts of panic selling, wait, for the initial few weeks, as far as people dumping stuff, and then grab something at that point. You'll easily be able to get some good opportunities. He'll be hopefully back healthy in 2022. And as soon as he hits the first few bombs in preseason and in April, your cards will spike.
Yeah. So as a short term play, I'm still very high on Tatis. He's not going anywhere. He's not disappearing.
Oh yeah, I mean the Padres paid him 10 years, like $40 million a year, so he's going to be around for a bit. It's just a question of how high of a level and how many games a season he's going to play. All right, Guy, we're wrapped up. Episode 6 in the can. Any final comments or words for the people?
No, I'm gonna wait for my personal NFTs to launch and
the Bunk NFTs. When are those coming out?
Bunk NFTs, never, because they're stupid.
Guy, if you made an NFT that had like a little bubble that said "Get off my lawn," I'll buy that. I'll throw
you and like 4 people.
I'll throw a few bucks at that. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for episode 6. It's in the books. We'll be back next week for episode 7 and talking more football leading up to the draft. Have a great day.